What's going on, everybody? C4, welcome back to the channel. Today we're here for episode 6 of our Retro Madden franchise mod, just ahead of the 1997 draft. A quick roadmap of how everything started. We started in the 1995 season. We started as an offensive coordinator. We went on to win the Super Bowl with the Miami Dolphins and Dan Marino, and we used that to start a head coaching journey for our coach up there in the top right corner, Pat Phoenix. And we decided to take on the goal of becoming the first ever head coach of the expansion Jacksonville Jaguars team. Now, we are embarking on our third full season once we get through this draft and get into the next year with the Jags. We've yet to make the playoffs, but we have built a pretty fun team, all things considered. Mark Brunell, Mike Allstott, we got Jimmy Smith, Desmond Howard, former Heisman Trophy winner, now like a panelist on college football. He's been incredible for us. We got Keenan McCardell. We got Reuben Brown, I guess, if you're a Bills fan. You like Bills linemen of the greats. We got Warren Sapp, Weapon X Brian Dawkins, and of course, more so than anyone, a guy named Harry Colin, who's been great. We left the video, the last episode, on our pick in the first round, and I need you guys to give me a direction where we should go, because there was really two players that I was interested in. As you see in our team there, we need some help everywhere. We need some help in the secondary. We need some help on the offensive line. And I think, you know, we had some good debate about where we should go. One is Walter Jones, who is an incredible offensive lineman. He'd probably be a superstar dev tackle, and we wouldn't really have to worry about offensive tackle for a minute. Or the other option, which you can maybe make the argument that our secondary is weaker right now, is looking at Ronde Barber out of Virginia here. Looks really, really good for a corner. 4.24 speed. Maybe not the ideal size I would like to look for, but like I really do think we need a playmaker back there in the secondary. And then we just kind of made a tongue-in-cheek, but also serious comment that this is Bob Sapp. For the memes, even. This is Bob Sapp. This is Longest Yard. This is Pride, Bob Sapp. And Bob Sapp is hilarious. Bob Sapp to me is like one of the funniest, just most outrageous person ever. Look at the player now. Motor always running hot. I kind of want to get Bob Sapp. But I don't have any other needs outside of left tackle. So like there's only one opening on my offensive line for a new player to start. And I don't know what the rating's going to look like. But I'm going to almost say the craziest thing that you'll ever see. I think I'm going to pass on Walter Jones, who made a bunch of Pro Bowls. Probably all pros for all I know. And I think it's going to open the door for us to get Bob Sapp to come in and compete for left tackle. Therefore, with pick 15 in the 1997 draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Ronde Barber, corner out of Virginia. Go to the board here in the second round. We got Deuce Staley. That's an interesting one. Even though his time in Philadelphia was very up and down with me. I like Deuce Staley. I think he's a good coach. Despise his running back rotation, right? Look at the wide receivers. We have Ray Caruth, who's like one of the criminal. Not much there. I mean, we are starting to get to the drafts where I'm going to know more players. OJ Santiago, I remember him. Chad Lewis, I remember him. But we're good at tight end. Not much there left tackle. We still got Bob Sapp on the board. I mean, we still got Chris Dishman. He's probably actually a decent rating. Guy named Jamie Nail sounds like a pro wrestler or a porn star. But yeah, Bob Sapp is probably going to be our pick here unless I see... We don't have a pick in the third round. Our next pick would be in the fourth round, so we don't always have to hope that Bob Sapp can continue to fall if that was really, truly our decision in our heart of hearts. But as we go through here, again, not really seeing much. I remember Dexter Coakley. Yeah, I remember him. I think he used to play for the Redskins? Am I even allowed to call him that? I feel like I am. I'm in the time. I'm in the era. Yeah, I mean, honestly, looking at the board right now, it'd be like, let's throw another power back in the backfield with Mike Allstott in Deuce Staley. Or what really led us down the direction of getting and passing and moving on to get Ronde Barber is let's ride with Bob Sapp here. And he needs 99 strength, okay? 79 strength is disrespectful. I don't really need a kicker, but David Akers is still here. And even though he was never really great in the playoffs for the Philadelphia Eagles, I almost have to. Take a look at our draft recap. Ronde Barber, not a crazy rating. Who would have thought David Akers with the last pick, 77 overall hit a dev, would have been our best value. We got Anthony Hicks. I mean, we got Hicks, Mathis, and Bynum. Not gonna lie, not overly familiar. Actually, Kenny Bynum sounds somewhat familiar. But I'll tell you right now, if you ever play this mod, One thing you will notice is that there's not a lot of speed, not a lot of athletes outside of like the star players when you start. So like really, when it comes to like, you know, especially in the 90s, late 90s and stuff like that, I'm going to be drafting athletes. I just need to get some more speed on my team on both sides of the football. So I got the fastest running back that was available, fastest corner that was available, fastest linebacker that was available. Bob Sapp there with a disrespectful 79 strength. We're going to have to find a way to make it work. He's a 66 guard. What happens if I shift into tackle? I'm not going to lie, it might have been a little bit of a whiff of a pick here, because that's where we need him. We need him at left tackle. He goes from 66, stays at a 66, which is fine. And then Ronde Barber here, 75 overall. Thought it'd be higher, honestly. But we got the face scan in, which is important. That's another reason why people say, oh, C4, you always take the star. Because the more stars, the more likely they're going to have a face scan. And that's kind of helps with the immersion that we're building here. But he's a 72. I think we have to now look, because it was such a tough decision, where we want to go. Look, we'll expose the rest of the draft. I don't think we're going to be running this series back. What is the rating of Walter? And he's a 76. So we swapped a 72 hidden depth for a 76, and he has a face scan too, which would have been good. Ends up going to the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to guess that this is a superstar. It's an X factor, so it's high. He's the peak and the pinnacle of an offensive tackle. Going to be right there with Orlando Pace. So that is massive pressure on the shoulders of Ronde Barber. Coming in as a lower rating, obviously different positions, but we're going to have to roll at least a superstar on Ronde Barber to not feel like we came up behind from this 1997 draft. There's a look at our squad as we gear up for the 1997 season, as we embark on a journey for hopefully a first playoff berth in franchise history. Again, like, you know, you make it sound like, oh, we're our first 2 years in, haven't made the playoffs. You're assuming that we've been bottom dwellers. Well, we've kind of been at different points, looking like a legitimate team. We just haven't had the consistency, haven't had the depth to really close the season out. So we got Mark Brunell coming back. He's been good. He's been playing like a top 10 quarterback, which for under an 80 overall is very good. Mike Alstott, who has struggled with injuries in his rookie season, looks to come back bigger, badder than ever for year number 2. Give us a full 17-game season. I think the sky is the limit. We have Jimmy Smith, Keenan McCardell, both now off normal dev, starting the season as star dev. Maybe that's a kick in the pants they knew to take their game to the next level. But Desmond Howard is, I would say, regardless of rating, our wide receiver run right now. He is definitely our go-to target. Mitchell's been a very solid, very reliable tight end. And the offensive line, well, running back with the same unit. And now we got Bob Sapp, a question mark at left tackle. But hopefully the rating is only a suggestion and he plays a lot better than that base rating. Looking at the defense, front four, still, it's, you know, we're gonna go a little passing in the guard. Legman went up dev trade, but Evans is such a better athlete. I think I kind of want that speed coming out there. But, you know, we could probably go Legman here over Sming. But it's the Warren Sapp D-line. That's if we're gonna hop down on the defense, it's gonna be Warren Sapp. The linebacking core, Allridge, Goganis, and Williams are solid. We have Brian Dawkins, who I think we probably will make him and move him into sub linebacker again, just cause. Plus Pope behind him is one of our highest rated players. So we want, you want to try to just get your best lineup on the field. So anytime Dawkins does line up at linebacker, Pope being there at free safety is still pretty good for our defense. Our corner room is decent, but with the addition of Ronde Barber, hopefully transforms this unit here a little bit. We have a chance at a potential third X factor. You only have 3 X factors anyways on the defense, so we can cash that in with Warren Sapp, Ronde Barber, and Brian Dawkins. I'm going to be fine with that. Let's see if we can get some interceptions, and I'm excited to see what Ronde Barber can do. All in all, our expectations here again are let's try and compete, see if we can get that first ever playoff berth. But for today's episode, we're going to go from now to the midway point of the regular season, and at least hopefully we have a pretty decent record, get off to a good start, and have aspirations of a playoff berth, and we're not sitting here like 2-5, 2-6, being like, well, shit, do we have a fire sale? Do we get rid of some of our veterans and try to acquire more draft picks? Only one way to find out. Let's get into it. First game of the season was a tough one. Jets they were like an 84 overall, so they are one of the highest rated rosters. And unfortunately, we fall 31-17 with an injury. I feel like we need to have injuries on, but man, injuries have not been doing us any favors. Brian Dawkins out for 6 weeks. We're able to bounce back week 2, 31-21 over the Houston Texans, which was a game we definitely should have won. But we were able to win. Sometimes you can choke up on those ones. Mark Brunell gets AFC Offensive Player of the Week, 4 total touchdowns, 355 yards passing. I mean, he's been great in the sim, and I have no real complaints about our quarterback spot, even though we have kind of pondered the idea of potentially moving on from the quarterback spot and maybe getting an upgrade in the draft, and this would be the year. If you're going to suck, you get Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning currently projected to go to the Baltimore Ravens. That'd be annoying. I'd much rather him go to the out of the AFC and go to the NFC, but we'll have to wait and see. I did go in. Here's the draft class. I mean, here's at least the top of the draft class. Some good, we kept some of the bust there. We got Fred Taylor. We got Keith Brooking, Charles Woodson, Randy Moss, Leonard Little, Amon Green, Pat Surtain, Takeo Spikes, Trey Thomas, Hines Ward, Alan Faneca is here. Jeremiah Trotter, the Axeman at pick 30. I would love to potentially bring him in. Jamal Williams, part of that great Williams wall down there with the Minnesota Vikings. Him and who's the other Williams? Mike Williams? Who? Mike? Oh, I don't know. I can't remember. But it's a pretty good draft class, especially near the top of it. And it's really, at this point, a bunch of teams picking at the bottom. Probably these top 5 teams featuring the Ravens, the Panthers, the Texans. Those are teams that when we started, they were also expansive. Their rosters were terrible. They're all probably tanking and trying their best to tank for Peyton Manning. Through 5 weeks, we're 3-2, sitting atop the AFC South. I think 3-2 for a 77 overall team's pretty respectable. Unfortunately, we are coming off a 24-21 loss against the Vikings. But this was the game that I circled all along for us to play here in the first half of the season against our former original team we won a Super Bowl with, Miami Dolphins. I want to see how we match up against Denver. Now it sucks that we're still down Brian Dawkins, but we can rock. We actually have another injury we picked up week 5. Please don't be Mike Allstott. And it's our starting right tackle, Jeff Novak. Made a little bit of nerve because he came with us from the Dolphins when we jumped ship to the Jags. He was one of our picks in the expansion draft, but that's fine. I'm sure we'll be able to endure somehow, some way. Looking at this, we are currently a top 5 offense. Not great defensively. Dolphins are pretty much in the same boat. Almost a top 5 offense. Not great defensively. Maybe a little bit better than us as far as pass yards per game and rushing yards per game. But they're also, a little bit better than us overall on the defensive side of the football. But I can tell you right now, through the sim, Mark Brunell is right now, him and Dan Marino are the top 2 quarterbacks in terms of stats in the NFL right now. Mark Brunell, 72% completion percentage, 1,600 yards, 14 touchdowns. Dan Marino, 68% completion percentage, 1,500 yards, and 10 touchdowns. I know sure as shit that Mark Brunell is not throwing to Chris Carter and Urban Fryer. 2 X-Factor, 2 superstar, 2 big-time players. We don't got that. We got the role players that are trying their best. So this is gonna be a highly contested game. This game I don't want to lose because I'm kind of competing against myself here a little bit. So let's go out there, get that 4th win of the season, and just maintain and fortify our lead sitting atop the AFC South. We've also found out the dev trait on Ronde Barber. We know we passed on an X Factor, but we gained an X Factor, which is awesome. It's not, I think we've been pretty lucky that at least our first round picks in this series, we've made it count for the most part. But, he's still got a long ways to go in terms of development. He started at a pretty low spot. X Factor is going to hopefully help him make leaps and bounds, but he's going to need, this is where I'm fine when you draft an X Factor, because it's like, oh yeah, look, you got another X Factor, it's Ronde freaking Barber. But at least we got a journey. He started as a 72 overall. It wasn't like we got an 80 X Factor right out the gate. So you have that little bit of a gap where I think Ronde Barber probably should have been like a 77, 78 overall. Don't know about X Factor, probably still should be, especially if you ask a Tampa Bay Bucks fan. But because of that gap, this is just for his development, right? We're such a low rating, we're not going to have any crazy abilities. And if he doesn't play at a good level, that depth trait's just going to fade away. He's going to become a superstar and then regress to a potential star. Like, if he's not getting production, if he's not getting turnovers, if he's not getting tackles, we're going to lose that depth trait. So I feel like the fact that he started with a lower rating, I think at the end of the day, it's going to balance itself out. If he starts playing like an elite playmaker, gets 5, 6, 7 interceptions a year, then he's going to justify being an X Factor. And if he can't maintain that, well, he's going to regulate himself out a little bit and probably regress to where he should be. There's one thing I remember about our Dolphins team. They were a finesse team. They were a team that did not like it when things got dirty. And I think that's what we're going to have to do today, Mike Allstott. Make it dirty, grind them on the inside, make them not want to be here, make them not want to tackle you. For love of God, please let me get through this game without Mike Allstott getting an injury. Oh, 3rd and 4. They bring the blitz. We're going to punt. Great. Now we got the task of trying to stop the best offense in the league. All right, no worries at all. They're just marching down the field, and Dan Marino's in his X Factor. Sweet. And easy as can be. I mean, kind of felt like all along this is just going to be a shootout. Make it like a whatever team has the ball last is likely going to win. And hopefully that's our last punt of the game. The grab, Desmond Howard, flag on the play. What do we got here? Ooh, face mask, tack on 15. Go, hey, train. Oh, here we go. Wonder how this is going to work. C4 special to Mike Allstott, who has like 83 speed. But we got Lorenzo Neal out front. And there we go. Of course Mike Allstott is going to be able to run the C4 special. He's Mike Allstott. Oh, he didn't get his ass in. Oh, he did. Washington with the interception. Not only turns it over, we get the X Factor off of Dan Marino if this stands. Underthrew the football there. Did he get his ass? You know, one cheek counts as 2 feet. I think that's gonna stand. 3rd and 8. We're gonna go 4 verts. Well, we don't have A-Train out there. I know he's not the best 3rd down back, but pass pro. See if we can float that into Mitchell. Yeah, they cover that one well. Come on, man. Just stonewall. 2nd and 7. Come on, man. We need Ward Sapp to take this game over. Start playing like an X Factor. They're X Factor. Dan Marino playing like an X Factor. Our X Factor is getting, I mean, sure, he's getting double teamed, but give me something here, buddy. And we pretty much tackle him. That's a rookie mistake. Ronde Barber, the rookie, just straight up tackling Chris Carter in the end zone. And easy does it. Whatever team has the ball last is going to win this game. No defense, especially on my end. Let's get this big stop. 3rd and 10. Opening drive of the second half. Dolphins started with us, so we can gain our momentum. We got Dan Marino out of his X Factor. He's had a couple incompletions here. But it's just the non-existent pass rush. Dolphins have a solid O-line. They don't have an S-tier O-line, but we're making them look like they have an S-tier O-line. Shoot the wrong gap, and it's the 2nd time he's been able to walk right in. I'm starting to feel like we're not as good as the Dolphins. So then I don't know if I love about the offense. To change this offseason to move Desmond Howard on the outside to the slot. I think I like him more in the slot. I like having that go-to guy. But there we go. Able to go to our new go-to guy. Get the block. Oh, we didn't get it. But that's still a great catch and run. Keita McCardell putting us in the red zone. We get a little power run here. Lorenzo Neal, Mike Allstott in the backfield. See what we can get. Probably set up a throw if we have to. They get a great block. A couple yards. Up to 50 and a tutty for Allstott. I think we're going to have to throw this one. 3rd and 5. We won't go slants. We'll go with, still give us a slant option. That's where my primary read is going to be, is Jimmy Smith top of the screen there. And he actually wins. Yeah, it's easy. An easy touchdown to pull one back. Jimmy Smith on the same page. Gets his 5th touchdown of the season. Wow. What? Wow, that's some adjustment there, James. Torrey James got turned around, and then he yeah, you know what? We'll give him credit and say that he baited us, and I'm not going to look to see that he's like a 71 overall. Oh, we bail him. Bail on the offense. They might stay on the field here for 4th down, but we likely have forced the punt, which we do. There we go. That's how you get a 1st down. Go to McCardell. Easy route. Takes it all the way up to the 4-yard line. I think it's time to bring up the A train. Get off the tracks. Get off the tracks, baby. Now, we can't let the Dolphins have a long drive here. Talked about it. Feels like this is... whoever has the ball last is going to win. And if they have like a long-ass drive, they're going to do exactly that. We'll burn our timeout now. So we got 4, including the 2-minute warning. 3rd and 2, we're going to bring blitz. Sit back in coverage, has not done a damn thing. We have got to just surprise them, be able to get home here. And, yeah. Yep. Hey, you know what? Also, letting them score quickly so that we have a chance to go tie and force overtime. Probably our best case scenario right now. There you go. Let them score. Well done, defense. Might get some flack in the media, but that's what we need to do. Get out of bounds. Hey, here we go. Almost midfield. Oh, no. Our guys are gassed. We are on our backups of backups. Desmond Howard X is really our only viable option. Top of the screen. Does get a little bit of a step. Oh, my God. Desmond Howard. If that stands, and that might be defensive pass interference. That is our... It is. I got it. That's our wide receiver 1 right there. That is absurdity. Penalty declined. And we're at David Akers extra point away from tying this game up and being able to force overtime. But we can't let the Dolphins get into field goal range 19 seconds ago. Very intense game, as we knew it was going to be. And they are just going to run this one into overtime. And hopefully we get the roll and can go get a touchdown and not let Dan Marino touch the football. We're going to go tails. 3rd and 6. Chance to get off the field here. We're going to... Man, I just wish I had Brian Dawkins. I'd feel a lot more comfortable. Man, and Brian Dawkins in the middle of the field. They go in the draw. No! All right, they've literally chewed away overtime, and we can't stop them. Again, go back to whatever team has the ball last is likely going to win this game. And I didn't think when I said that prediction that they would just have the ball the entire overtime. But that's just the state of our defense, especially down Brian Dawkins. And the fact that literally Warren Sapp has fucking done nothing. My 90 X-Factor D-tackle has got locked up by a right-hand side of a Dolphins O-line that doesn't have a player over an 80 overall. And that's, you know, we wonder why we've yet to make the playoffs. Because my team's still not very good. We're still a 77 overall. And to put that into context, that would be probably a bottom 3, bottom 5 team in Madden right now. So, tough loss. Very frustrating because my defense could fucking do nothing. But they showed good fight. Showed good fight against a team that's been to, what, 2 Super Bowls in 3 seasons? Won 2 of them. So we're able to bounce back from that Dolphins loss with a nice 28-10 victory over the Texans. Enough so that it prompted a breakout scenario for Mark Brunell after another Player of the Week performance where he got 4 touchdowns on the day, which is pretty cool. We also have Brian Dawkins returning from injury, which is a massive boost for our team. But we are here right ahead of the trade deadline, and this is kind of where we stop, smell the roses, see where we're at as a squad. Look at the most recent mock draft. Just out of curiosity, we have us going with Keith Brooking. Not gonna lie, I'd probably go Takeo Spikes just because he spent time with the Eagles a little bit, but 2 really nice linebackers in the area code of where we could select. You got Hines Ward at wide receiver, Jamal Williams, I imagine putting that 6'3", 350 right next to Warren Sapp. Alan Faneca would be a dope pick as well. But I like that range, man. 2 really good linebackers. And linebacker is definitely a spot. I see more guys I can use her and use her in the middle of my defense. Right now, like, my linebackers are high 60s, low 70s. It's not a winning combination. It's not really where I want to be. I suppose we can look at our contracts here, at least get some of this housekeeping done. We got Alan Alderedge, Keenan McCardell, Dave. I mean, again, it pretty much have kind of remained consistent in saying if you're over a 70 overall, likely going to want to keep you around. So we have Wydell here. We'll only look for a 1-year deal. He was part of our first, in real life, he was a part of the real Jags expansion, so we'll get him in there. We have Keenan McCardell looking for a 4-year deal, a little bit of a Jags legend. Let's keep him here for the rest of his prime. He's been solid. And Al Aldridge, it's kind of reasonable. Keep him here until he's almost 30. Keep the good players in-house. I think after that, probably good. But I see if we're targeting linebacker, James Williams might be the surplus to that linebacking room if we do decide to go with a Keith Brooking and or potentially a Takeo Spikes in the draft. And look at the trade block. The trade block has been pretty butt cheeks since we've done this. I feel like this is probably going to be the same case here. You never know. We might find someone that's funny, missing piece type player. This Jim Reed, again, it's just the ratings on the O-line are so skewed. It's like, I don't know if that guy actually was this, whatever. I don't know if Pat Harlow was actually an 87 caliber player. Ooh. Now that is someone that I would be interested in. Might come back to that one. Just from a name value, it's John Runyan. It's one of the best linemen that I've ever seen play for my favorite team. Who else is available? If we can make a deal. As much as I like Bob Sapp, find a way to get John Runyan on the squad. What are they looking for? Quarterback, corner, center, right defensive end, free safety. Now, here is where we do have Marquez Pope. Do have some options here at corner. See if we get Dave Thomas. Is that enough? Nope. Can we use Dave Thomas as a starting piece? Because I really would like to see if we can make this trade without having to give up Pope, our free safety. Lagman's kind of surplus right now. So he's 29. I actually think Smengi's a backup right now. Oh my God, you need more? Because we're also dumping off some of our fatter salary cap players here. Much as I like Bob Sapp. What do we have at center? Ugh. What do we have at core? Maybe I throw a pick in. Those two players and like a 4th round pick. Is that enough? Are you interested in that? Hey, there we go. John Runyan. Now a Jag. So we're going to play him at left tackle. And let's take a look at our shiny new left tackle. John Runyan has a dev trait star dev. And he's infancy, man. I'm going to make him a team captain right now. What is he? Isn't he something with, like, he's a senator or some shit like that? But there we go, man. Adding, in my opinion, the most violent offensive lineman in recent memory to play. Obviously, you maybe got, like, Rich Incognito and stuff like that. But John Runyan was an absolute savage. The battles that he had back in the day with Michael Strahan were absolutely iconic. Right as I was getting into an Eagle fan, that's when he was probably, he was never an S-tier tackle by any means, but he was a guy like in Madden, he'd be like an 85, very consistent, mid to high 80s every single year. Wasn't necessarily on the level of like a Lane Johnson or a Jason Peters, but very happy to bring in John Runyan. He was a guy that when we saw him in last year's draft, that was a potential target for us. And, gives us a little bit of surplus here. We got Bob Sapp. You never know. Maybe Bob Sapp can be keying a move to center, right? Imagine putting Bob Sapp right in the center. He broke into my nose right there at the center. But very happy to land John Runyan. I feel like that's a perfect way to cap off this episode with a little bit of momentum after the bummer of an OT loss against the Miami Dolphins. So that's going to do it for me here today, fellas. Thank you very much for watching. Might be a day or two for the next upload. I think I'm going to be working on a new 0 rings to 7 rings rebuild of the Minnesota Vikings. So stay tuned for that one. And then before too long, obviously, we're going to be able to run this one back, close out the 1997 season, and set things up for 1998, but who knows, man? 4-3, still sitting atop the AFC South, still on track. This actually week 8 when we come back, it's going to be a huge game. I'm telling you right now, we're going to play it because we're going to trigger that quarterback breakout scenario. And if we win this one, we're going to get a 2-game lead over the Colts. They were definitely our stiffest competition in the division as an 85 overall, with the great Marshall Faulk leading their backfield. But that'll do for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. It's always first time stopping by. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, smash the like button if you enjoyed. And until next time, your boy C4. Say peace out, love ya. Have a good one.